Hello everyone. You're watching Turkish series Stars, and tonight we're diving into the most talked about whisper of the week. Settle in, because we've gathered every last detail for you. If you want more stories like this, tap subscribe and share the video so you don't miss a single update as we go. Now let's get to it. Navruz, a name that lights up the screen, has suddenly become the center of the most intimate headline of his life. Sources close to the couple say Alp has welcomed a baby with his longtime love, Alina. The remarkable part isn't just the baby, it's how quietly this all happened. We're told Alp kept the news under wraps for weeks, even shielding it from people he normally trusts with everything. For a star used to crowds and cameras, that kind of silence speaks volumes. Fans know Alp for the unmistakable sincerity he brings to every role, from his breakout in Fazlet Hanım ve Kızları to the seaside romance of Ada Masali. Over the last year, however, he's done his best to step gently around the spotlight, and Alina has matched him step for step. Even with campaigns, premieres, and a timeline filled with work milestones, their private lives stayed relentlessly off the grid. No couple photos, no public declarations, just a quiet certainty that the outside world didn't need to see everything. That's why this revelation landed like a jolt across social media. According to insiders, Alp and Alina's relationship had been moving towards something very permanent. Word is they had already whispered those defining words to their inner circle. Now is the time, the wedding is finally happening. Invitations weren't out, but the planning mood was real, dates being discussed, venues floated, family meetings handled with discretion. Then, as the dress fittings and menu choices loomed, life rushed in. The baby news came first. If you're wondering whether the change in order rattled them, friends say the opposite is true, it anchored them. What we've learned so far paints a serene picture behind closed doors. Alina delivered safely, and both she and the baby are doing well. No drama at the hospital, no midnight escapes, just a careful, extremely private birth supported by the closest of kin. Those who've seen Alp this week keep using the same word, transformed. His smile is quieter, his eyes carry a new gravity, and he speaks like a man who found the chapter he didn't know he was racing toward. One confidant tells us Alp has been describing the feeling in a way that makes even skeptics soften. In casual talks he said, "This is the most defining moment of my life. From now on, everything I do aims at one little future." Another friend says he added, "I thought I knew purpose, but now I wake up and it has a name." Whether it's a son or not, the bond is unmistakable. Yet several whispers insist the baby is a boy, and that the name chosen holds family history, simple, classic, and meaningful. What makes all this even more remarkable is how carefully they hid the signs. No sudden social media gaps that would spark speculation, no lingering public strolls, no affectionate birthday posts to dissect. Alina, usually poised and discreet, stayed laser-focused on her work, and Alp's recent absence from set was chalked up to rest and preparation for new projects. Only now do we hear the hint behind those decisions, the quiet choreographing of a new life. And when the news finally seeped out, one whisper from a cousin, another from a friend, it spread like wildfire. The digital world reacted with instant emotion. Comment after comment poured in, "Fatherhood suits Alp so well. We hope the wedding is close behind. We've waited so long for this happiness." Others wrote about Alina's calm strength, saying she would be a gentle, grounded mother who brings a quiet warmth to their home. The love from the audience felt less like fandom and more like community. Now everyone's asking, will Alp break his silence and confirm what the streets are already singing? The expectation is that he will speak soon, not with a spectacle, but with a heartfelt message. People close to him say he's resolved to strike a careful balance, protect his family's privacy while acknowledging the joy that can't be hidden anymore. And yes, the wedding talk hasn't disappeared, in fact, we hear it's approaching in a new shape. The grand plan has been traded for something intimate and meaningful, a ceremony built around loved ones rather than headlines. It's a turning point not only for a career but for a life. Alp's rise on television has always felt steady rather than sudden, project by project, a reputation built on craft, humility, and a patient connection with viewers. Alina's, too, from her first scenes to her later roles, she drew people in with an unshowy depth, a quiet magnetism. Now, both are standing on a new threshold. A baby in the house, wedding whispers in the background, and a future rearranged by softness and responsibility. Of course, the story didn't end with the first wave of shock. More details trickled out from that tight circle. It turns out the secrecy wasn't just a whim, it was a well-considered choice. Alp wanted a few sacred weeks with his child before the public's gaze arrived. He wanted to learn the rhythms of late-night feedings and dawn quiet, to understand how his own heartbeat would change when a smaller one fell asleep against his chest. Only after those first priceless days did he consider sharing the joy beyond the front door. Colleagues noticed his schedule bending. The actor who usually powers through long shoots began choosing time differently. Scripts were still read, but the calls ended earlier. Coffee meetings shifted to phone chats. A few people wondered if a big announcement was coming, an agency switch, a global campaign. No one guessed the truth. Now, with hindsight, every careful step makes sense. Several tabloids have tried to stitch together a timeline. They say Alp and Alina quietly brought their families together last summer, letting the elders meet with warmth and a touch of ceremony. Nothing flashy, but enough to suggest new chapters. Close friends whisper that they've been collecting little things for months, a chair that rocks without squeak, a basket for blankets, the kind of soft light that makes a nursery glow without waking the neighborhood. The image is unmistakable, a home being prepared with intention long before anyone knew why. And that wedding? The sources agree, it's coming, but in a gentle key. No huge orchestra, no press wall, just a place with light and air and a handful of witnesses who have earned the right to be there. Alina, they say, wants a dress that feels like her, elegant but unforced, something that will look timeless when the photos are peered at by small hands in the years to come. Alp wants vows that sound like life, not performance. The date remains a secret, but the decision, it seems, is firm. Meanwhile, the couple's fans are treating the news like a holiday. Comments have become little postcards of joy. We always sensed their bond, now the world can see it. Fatherhood will make Alp glow in a different way. May Alina have all the peace she deserves. Amid the usual noise of social media, the tone here is unusually tender, almost protective. It's as if audiences understand that some moments ask for quieter applause. Industry insiders aren't surprised to hear that fatherhood has reframed Alp's priorities. They expect he'll choose scripts with more reflection, characters who carry the weight of love and duty. As for Alina, those who've worked with her say motherhood will only sharpen her already instinctive approach to roles. She is, after all, an artist who finds the truth in small gestures. Now her life is full of them. If you're wondering how such a big secret stayed sealed for so long, look no further than the couple's discipline. Friends say there were no careless texts, no risky dinners. When they went out, they went separately. When they returned home, the curtains were drawn. It wasn't isolation, it was intention. They wanted to carry this chapter by themselves for as long as they could. All of this leads back to the image that started the storm, a radiant Alina leaving a clinic through a side entrance, a cap pulled low, a hand on her shoulder guiding, steady and sure. The man beside her didn't look like a star protecting his brand. He looked like a partner guarding his family. So where does it go from here? Expect a calm statement. Expect a photo that shows warmth without giving away the world. Expect the wedding to unfold without an audience and for the first official glimpse of their baby to arrive when they decide the time is right. If the last few weeks prove anything, it's that Alp and Alina know how to hold what matters close. We'll be watching with the same care, celebrating from a respectful distance. For now, one truth stands, a beloved couple has taken a beautiful step. Between scripts and sets, premieres and campaigns, they made room for late-night lullabies and a name whispered in the dark. And isn't that the most human headline of all? You've been with Turkish series stars. If this story moved you, subscribe for more, share with someone who loves them as much as you do, and stay tuned. The next chapter is already unfolding, just out of sight, but we'll be here to bring it closer, one honest detail at a time. Actor Navruz continues to trend as fresh tidbits surface. What began as a murmur has turned into a chorus. The handsome star is now a father, and his partner in this quiet joy is none other than Alina. He kept the truth tucked away, choosing to tell even close friends only after their child arrived safely. When the news finally slipped into the open, the reaction was immediate, timelines filled, fan pages erupted, and a long list of well wishes found its way to the couple. On social platforms, fans echoed each other with heartfelt notes. Fatherhood looks incredible on Alp. May their wedding be just as blessed. We always knew they were soulmates. The affection says as much about the audience as it does the actors. People have watched them grow, separately and together, and the sense of investment now feels almost familial. Those who followed Alp's career from his early days to his major hits remember his steady climb, his refusal to be hurried by hype. It's the same instinct that led him to guard this private moment. A family friend offered the simplest explanation for the secrecy: some happiness deserves quiet. Another added, he wanted to find the rhythm of fatherhood before the cameras did. In those lines, you can hear the shape of his priorities. Backstage talk hints that Alina's delivery came a few weeks ago, smooth and well supported. The baby boy is healthy, strong, and already the small ruler of a home that has learned the language of soft footsteps and whispered laughter. Alp, by all accounts, is besotted. One source claims he told friends, "I've never felt a bond this powerful. From now on, every choice I make is for my son." These words reveal a man stepping into responsibility not as a burden but as a calling. As for the future, don't expect a glittering spectacle. The plan on the table is a modest ceremony surrounded by family and a handful of friends who have walked alongside them in silence. No red carpet. No choreographed photo ops. Just vows, a promise, and the understanding that the world outside can wait. If there's one thing this journey has taught them, it's that the most luminous moments often shine brightest when no one is watching. We're closing on a high note tonight. This has been Turkish Series Stars. Thank you for being with us until the end. If you enjoyed the story, subscribe, share, and keep your notifications on. There's more to come, and when it arrives, we'll be right here to tell it with care. Bye for now.